This week on Let's Talk Schools, community outreach is a top priority for our Fulton County Schools Police Department. We'll tell you all about some of the mentorship programs and the positive ways they are interacting with our students. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Schools. I'm Mike Looney, the superintendent of the schools, and your host for the show. Today we're going to be talking to our police department leaders, talking about the wonderful work they do. So proud to have Chief Zaborski and Lieutenant Dr. Angela Washington in the house today. Thank you for being here. Chief, introduce yourself.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, my name is Mark Zaborski. I'm Chief of Police for the school district, for our police department. I've been here with the school district for, this is my 20th year. With the
20 years here in Fulton County Schools.
Yep, about 27 years of policing overall.
Wow. Yep. And Lieutenant Dr. Washington, how about you, ma'am?
Hello, sir. My name is Angela Washington. I'm the lieutenant over zones 1 and 2. I have been with the school system about 9.5 years, 16 years total. We do great things on the south end of the county.
You sure do, you sure do. You do great work. Well, you know, some people might be surprised that we actually have our very own police department. That is not uncommon these days. There's all kinds of safety and security risks and concerns. And so talk about your department, Chief. How large is your department? How many police officers do you have?
Yeah, our department's actually been in existence since 1989. We were recognized by the state back just over 33 years ago, 34 years ago now. And we've grown to a staffing allocation of about 86 police officers right now. We're still about 11 short, so actively recruiting, and so really looking for good recommendations. So anybody out there, our staff members that have got folks that are in law enforcement making a look at transition into what we do. And we're going to talk about some of those really great things that we do here at the school district. And Lieutenant Washington is going to be really instrumental in bringing forth some of that information that we've got about the programs that we do for outreach, because we're not just strictly law enforcement. We do have that element. We do have the law enforcement element. Of course, that's what we're here for. We're here for safety and security, and make sure that everybody has got a safe and secure learning environment to come to every day. And we do that law enforcement end. We're a traditional agency in the aspect of we've got everything that a regular law enforcement agency has. We've got detectives, we've got patrol officers, we've got folks that work overnight doing alarm response and burglary suppression. So we're a fully versed agency that works interoperably with all of our jurisdictional partners all together.
And we have a great relationship with other municipal and county law enforcement agencies, but this is a completely separate and legal entity. You have all the powers of any police department anywhere in the country. Angela, let's talk about, the law enforcement divisions, their primary function is not to arrest students or arrest bad people in schools, obviously. It's really about building relationships with our community and with our students. Talk a little bit about that important work and how you go about leading that work.
Well, back in 2021, we launched our community policing division, and that encompasses our GREAT program, our DARE program, Save T, which is partnered with the Office of Student Discipline, and we recently launched our very own police athletics/activities league, and we hosted our very first summer mini flag football camp. All of these programs give students and their parents the opportunity to see our officers in a different light, outside of their official capacity, having fun, because I think a lot of times people forget that we are regular people when we don't wear these uniforms. We all have the same trials and tribulations. We all go through things. So I think our students and our parents and even our staff members getting to interact with our officers outside of our official duties gives them some insight into who we are. We have those programs within the schools, but we also participate outside with other law enforcement jurisdictions. We will be doing National Night Out, which we have partnered with City of South Fulton Police Department and Sandy Springs Police Department. We do Red Ribbon Week, we do School Nutrition Week, we go to various elementary schools throughout the district and we read to the kids. We do pep rallies, college and career fairs, because we just want to interact and engage on a level that does not require us to be the police. And I hope that by seeing us in this capacity, that everyone realizes that we're just people too, and that the doors are always open and you can come to us and we can assist with providing any type of resources. And if we don't have them, we can get you to the right people. I mean, working in the school district as law enforcement, it's great because the resources that you don't have on the street, you have right here. We have social work. We have those things. We have psychology. We have those things in-house that are unique to us as a school police agency that don't exist in local municipalities.
I know we do have to make arrests from time to time, but once again, that's not the primary function of our police department.
Absolutely.
It's really to try to be proactive and keep students out of trouble and be supportive. So I'm really pleased to know that we have these programs that build relationships with students. Chief, I know that when I go to extracurricular activities, I always see a handful of Fulton County Schools police officers. So the work that y'all do is not just in the schoolhouse during the regular day, but y'all are keeping our games and our events safe as well.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on. You know, we stay pretty busy. You know, between extracurricular activities and athletics and even facilities rental. You know, we're key to a lot of the things that go on in our communities that we have our schoolhouses sit in. So, you know, we've got communities that come in and use those facilities. So, yeah, we do provide a security element for those pieces too. You know, for all the things that are going on. So we stay really busy over the course of the school year for sure. You know, we've got a lot going on even, you know, after the doors shut for the day for the education and the teaching part. So we keep going.
Right. Well, I know that, you know, from a national perspective, there's been a whole lot of focus on school shootings and school violence. And Fulton County Schools has not been, in a vacuum. We've had our share of incidents, but we haven't had a school shooting, thank goodness. Hope we don't we have one. Hope we don't have one. But let me ask you this. The community wants to know if we are prepared to respond should an incident like that happen. Talk to us about your perception or your feelings of readiness should something tragic happen in Fulton County Schools.
Yeah, you know, it's premier on everybody's mind, you know, and that's one of the things that, you know, anytime we have a national incident happen around the country, obviously the focus comes back to what it's going to do and how it affects us here at home. And that's the world that we live in every day, in the world of safety and security, right? So we try to think through those things. We try to build the relationships ahead of time. We've got a lot going on with our local jurisdictional partners. Like I said, we touch 13 other local police agencies, you know, across the whole of the county. So that's a lot. That's a lot to manage from partnerships. And, you know, knowing that we do training with those local jurisdictions. We do invite them into our facilities to train in our facilities too, as time allows at the same time. And making sure that we're doing things proactively to walk through and talk through some of the things that come out of the debriefs from the incidents that happen around the country. And we play the what if game of, if that happens here, how would that look? And we've got a partnership that's going on right now with Sandy Springs Fire and EMS and Police Department. We're going to be putting together, you know, a tabletop exercise for not just our agencies, but for our staff members in the school as well. So, you know, we try to work through those things and try to figure out the best practices, you know, that will help us all in, you know, the long run, you know, should an incident happen, and make sure that we're all well prepared.
Sure. And the state has passed a law now where we, by a certain date in the school year, have to have active shooter drills in our schools. So that's going to be a change for us this year.
It is.
We've had active shooter drills, but we've tried to keep the students uninvolved because it could be traumatic, obviously.
Sure.
And so we're going to have to navigate that. But I know that your department is ready for managing and supporting that work. Yeah,
we're working through that. We're working through that with the safety and security group as well to make sure that we're on the same page, you know, from the police department and you know, the things that we do with safety and security and, you know, the integration of the staff and making sure that, one, we're compliant with the law, you know, because I think it's new and untried and untested, you know, and it's just written out stuff that has come to us from state legislation. So it's been passed into law. We're trying to feel our way through that and make sure that we're doing that appropriately too, and making sure that that's handled on an age appropriate level, along with introducing those topics. Because you're right, we do the hard lockdown drills, we do the soft lockdown drills, we do the evacuation drills, we do the shelter in place, and actually putting the title to that of active shooter, like
Right.
we have to make sure that when we have an active threat in a building, that everybody knows that it's their part, and what to do given those set of circumstances, and how we have to work through that, in accordance with the law and functionality too. So, the law can be the law, but we've got to make sure that it functions across the district the way it needs to.
I know as a superintendent of schools, the calls that I get relating to safety and security most often are things such as this. There's been a bus issue, and somebody angry wants to stop and talk to the bus driver and engage the bus driver when the bus driver has students. People passing the school bus with the stop arm out. Angela, what kind of advice do you have for the people that are going to be watching and listening to this show as relates to their interaction with school employees or students on school buses as it relates to the law?
Well, first, if you have an issue with the bus driver, we have a phenomenal transportation division. Most parents know what bus number, and you do have the driver's information. Start with talking to transportation. And then, if you're not getting some resolve, then take the next step up. I think it falls sometimes on deaf ears because some of our parents and consumers, they would like to address the issue right then, but not realizing that certain behaviors are a violation of the law. Stepping onto a school bus is a violation of the law. Cursing out the driver, berating the driver in front of children is a violation of the law. And I think we can prevent a lot of those things if we start where the problem is first. If you have an issue with the driver, seek out that driver's supervisor. Don't approach the bus. And also, please, educate yourself on the stop school bus. Please know that if you're on a road like Old National Highway that does not have a concrete median or grass divider, that you are to stop on all sides of the road when the bus stops. I have witnessed and been stopped on the road where somebody on the opposite side has driven past the school bus when a child is crossing the street. And that is the most terrifying thing to watch. And then I have to now come out of terrified mode and come into police mode to engage this motorist, as any officer would. So the thing with transportation and approaching the bus, first, speak with transportation and pay attention, because we know our kids will dart out into traffic. We know no one uses the crosswalk. So it's just pertinent to put phones down, turn radios down, and to pay attention to our surroundings.
Absolutely, put the phones down, right? Because you got to pay attention. The same thing is true of the area right around the school, because we have walkers. And so beginning of school and the ending of the school day is a very congested time. People sometimes get impatient, want to take shortcuts or not obey the law, or pull over in the wrong place. And so what advice do you two have for those people that lack a little bit of patience or are running late as it relates to managing the traffic flow at the beginning or the end of school day?
Well, you can never drive fast enough to turn back the hands of time unless you're in a 1988 DeLorean, right? So, understand that we're all in the same boat. We're all trying to get to places, and there are no shortcuts when it comes to safety. And that's really what it comes down to. Whether you're behind the wheel of a car, whether you're managing a building, whatever the case may be, if you're trying to shortcut safety for the matter of convenience, you're never going to have a good result at the very end. You may get away with it for a little while, but eventually it's going to wind up coming back, and it's going to wind up, being counterproductive at the very end.
Absolutely. So, Chief, talk about what's new for the 23-24 school year, if anything.
Sure.
Are there any new things in place that we need to disclose?
Yeah, we got a couple of things going on, and some of the things that we kind of started at last year. Communications is a big thing, right? I think we all talk about that. There's formal communications, informal communications. We've talked a little bit about what it looks like when we communicate with our jurisdictional partners to make sure that we're all on the same page. But where the rubber meets the road and where we live every day in the police world is radios, okay? We got some great technology that we had 10 years ago when 911 centers switched from analog over to digital, right? and we haven't made any advancements since then. But this year, you kind of watched everybody in law enforcement and the first response world has kind of watched technology improve.
Right.
You know, just iPhones improve. You know, whether you're an iPhone guy or a Motorola guy or whatever the case may be. But we've got a lot of technology out there that's been integrated into police radios now. So the technology includes wireless Wi-Fi solutions along with LTE solutions, so wireless network as well as traditional radio wave frequency. So one of the things that we're doing this year is we're making an investment into new radios for all of our police officers so that any one of those three things we'll be able to touch to make sure that we stay in communication, because I think that's one of the things that anybody that's walked into one of our buildings knows. If you walk past the front door, you may lose cell signal on your phone. Well, it's no different than a police radio, right? We don't have anything special going on there, but what we do have is technology that is improved over the course of time that we'll be able to buy into and work through that.
So improved communications.
Improved communications. Another thing that we're doing is we're switching platforms for body cameras. Motorola and Avigilon, our Avigilon system across the school district. Motorola has body cams for law enforcement and
so our
first
law
response.
enforcement officers are all wearing body cams.
They're all wearing body cams.
Okay.
Yeah. We do have a technology solution that's kind of old and outdated. It's been functional for a long time. It's got us to where we need to go. But what we do have now is we'll have a Wi-Fi integratable piece that officers will be able to wear that's going to integrate directly into our Avigilon system.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be an all one piece solution that we'll be able to use. They'll be able to use the same platform for reviewing video, submitting video, those type of pieces, as well as if we did have a critical incident from the EOC, we'll be able to actually dial into activated body cams and be able to see live feeds of what's going on at the time with the people that are out there in the field.
Incredible. Well, there's so much more I know that you want to share. We're out of time today.
Okay.
I'll have to invite y'all back. Thank you so much for the men and women in blue, the work that y'all do. You're a critical part of our team. School safety is of paramount importance to me as the superintendent, but also to the broader community. Our school board members have invested heavily in supporting the work, and so we are safer because of the work that you do. So thank both of you for being here today.
Thank you for the invite.
Thank you so much for joining me in another Let's Talk Schools. See you next time. And now, let's go around the district in 90 seconds. That's it for our show this week. Let's keep the conversation going. We'd love to hear from you on our social media platforms. Join us next time on Let's Talk Schools. And as always, thank you for watching.